Welcome back to Fallout 3. We are going to continue our journey to Canterbury Commons that we started with the Chrysalis building that we just finished up. We are moving now. We're going to head on past the Wheaton Armory. We're not going to do all of that. I'll talk about that a little bit when we get there. Move on to Canterbury Commons and taking care of most of the stuff around Canterbury Commons and finishing that up.
This place there. I think I'm going to build a little shrine to you. All I need is some incense sticks and candles.
Okay.
Finally! Nice to see you.
Get him.
Well, shit. Really?
I'm glad that's over.
This is the Wheaton Armory. This whole area enclosed by fencing. You got the little guard post right out here with the raider in it. There's actually an interior area for it off to the left inside the compound, inside the office area, where you can walk through it and get a pretty decent stash of loot at the end. It's nothing that's really worth taking the effort to do that, so I'm not going to mess with it. It's nothing, there's no uniques, there's no specials, no bobbleheads, not very many books or anything like that we don't really need them that badly at the moment anyway. It's just a good stash of ammo, weapons, some armor, stuff like that. So I'm not really going to mess with it at the moment, but this big blob of raiders sitting right here in the middle of this area that we're going to be working in for a little while can be a headache, because if you get too close, they'll start shooting at you and you're going to get entangled anyway. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that and clear all of them out right now. The big thing we have to look out for is somewhere towards the middle of the compound there's a raider with a missile launcher, and he's pretty good at being able to take you by surprise and usually getting at least one hit on you. Although at the level that I'm at now, even a direct hit from a missile isn't going to want to hit me at the moment. So mainly we're just going to zoom through this battle right quick. We're going to loot all the surface area, and then we're going to move on from the Wheaton Armory. There's the rocket launcher. Bad timing. No rocket launcher for you.
There's more where that came from.
See that kind of miniature mesa way off in the distance? Looks like it has a building up on top of it, and then off to the left is a giant water tower. Looks like there's a little town right behind it. That's where we're heading. That's Canterbury Commons. There's a pretty interesting quest line that we go through there. I'm probably not going to do it the full loot everything way that I normally do these, because it's set up where you actually have to make a choice is how it's designed to do it. But anyway, the bigger, more important part about Canterbury Commons is that's actually the center for all of the traveling caravans that we run into that set up shop outside of Rivet City or Megaton. This is their center of operations, and a guy who works with them. That's the other thing that we're going to be getting into.
The hell do you want? We're trying to find this place up north called Oasis. Supposed to have a lot of good stuff to grab. But we ain't interested in sharing it with every dirty waster that wanders in. So now, we're gonna have to kill you. Found you!
We'll get him. Where?
Oh, hey. I was just trying to think of a word that rhymes with... Here. This is for you.
You'll never get away with terrorizing this town. Not while it's under the protection of the Mechanist.
You and your pathetic tin cans are no match for my army.
The citizens of this town have nothing to fear. The Mechanist is here to protect them.
Ha! We'll see about that. Attack, my ant soldiers. Destroy this fool and his tin toys.
Go forth, my steadfast creations. Show
Face it, Mechanist. They kill themselves off with their petty
sometimes, but our creations are strong and pure. Something you'll never be.
Fool! Humanity's creations were the seeds of their undoing. And now, to the Antagonizer!
Are you all right? You aren't hurt, are you? I'd like to apologize for the rude welcome. Those two have been a bit of a problem lately. Name's Rowe. Uncle Rowe to most. Welcome to Canterbury Commons. For what that's worth. The, Mechanist and the Antagonizer. That's just what they call themselves. It's ridiculous, I know. A while ago, we were attacked by the Antagonizer, that woman with the ants, obviously. The Mechanist saved the town with his robots. Well, that was all well and good, but I swear their fights are getting bigger, and it's been driving off the merchants. They simply won't leave. Oh, that's terrific. I knew you'd help out. Knew it in my gut, and it's never steered me wrong on a deal yet. Find where the Antagonizer and the Mechanist hide and convince them to stop or otherwise end their hostility, and you'll earn 200 caps. You only need to stop one of them, really. Nowadays, I think they only stay in Canterbury to fight each other. You drive a hard bargain, friend. But seeing how we haven't been able to solve the problem ourselves, fine. You've got a deal. But I expect results. Oh, and please do try to use some discretion. We already have plenty of would-be heroes starting wars in our streets. We don't need another. If it'll help, I'm glad to. And one day there was a crazy woman leading a bunch of ants into town. She said humanity was dead and the ants would inherit the earth, stuff like that. Well, that gave Dom plenty of time to line up a shot or two on the ants. She ran away, but every once in a while she'd stage an attack again. She wasn't much of a threat then. In fact, she was sort of entertaining at first. Gave everyone in town something to talk about. But when the Mechanists started fighting her, things got bad. Ants are easy to shoot, but add robots with lasers, it got real nasty. The Mechanist used to be our town mechanic, Scott Walensky. Quiet guy, but plenty fierce with a wrench and some solder. Guy used to take care of a robot that protected the town until it got torn up in one of the Antagonizer's lame little attacks. I guess he took it personal because he made a mechanical suit and called himself the Mechanist, said he would lead a robot army to fight her. Now he doesn't even respond to his name, and his robot army is more dangerous to the town than the ants ever were. My nephew Derek might know more about them. I swear it's all I can do to keep him from running into the fight whenever they come out. He might know more about where you can find them, but don't encourage the poor boy. He's had enough close calls. I most heartily agree. Glad to help, glad to help. You'll want to talk with Joe Porter over in Dot's Diner. I don't know who Dot was, but I'm sure Porter's food does her memory proud. When they're in town, you can find the caravan trader out front of the town. They say it's a good way to catch a visitor's eye. Enjoy! Ha! Damn near everything, I suspect. I founded the place myself, and I'm the reason this place stays fat and happy. Because I asked them to, I suspect. I grew up in these trade caravans, known most of them my whole life. I founded this place with my sister Daisy back in the day. Perfect stop along the caravan circuit. They're just small caravans that make rounds through the wastes, hawking their wares from Paradise Falls to Rivet City. They won't trade with anyone who's hit their friends, but that's about as organized as they get. I had thought about it, but some of these wasteland traders, well, they aren't exactly the organizational type. It'd take a pretty savvy businessman to make it worth their while to work together. Frankly, I'm not sure even I'm up to the task. I think you're right. And the specialization might play to their eccentricities. It could work. And I could act as their representative in this matter. Goodness knows I've known them for years, so I should be able to speak for them. Just let me know what you suggest in the way of specialties, and I'll let them know to focus on that area. Then you'd be looking for Lucky Harith, adventurer, martial artist, and occasional collector of the most deadly items known to mankind. He's a bit of an eccentric, but he deals in more weaponry than you can shake a sharp stick at. In fact, he's probably got a sharp stick, too. Harith's got quite a lot of weapons, but I'm sure he could improve his stock. An investment of 200 caps should see to that nicely. Excellent. Harith will be delighted. He usually is by most things, really. If Harith were a less reputable man, I'm sure he could use his armory to collect even more weapons. But he's a merchant, not a raider, so it's legitimate means only. Like a legitimate investment of 500 caps. An investment in weaponry is usually returned in short order, after all. I'll inform Harith. That simply isn't feasible, I'm afraid. Harith's gear already rivals some mercenary armies. Anything further would be asking for trouble. Sure thing. Interested in any of the other traders? Our man Crow handles most armor and clothing out on the trail. He grew up a tribal, but he traded in his loincloth for much snappier apparel long ago. It takes a fair amount of capital to expand into higher quality material, you know. Improving Crow's wardrobe would require a one-time investment of... Excellent. Crow's armor is already... Isn't it, though? I'll send this... At this point, the merchandise of our man Crow is the best in the wasteland. I fear it's beyond improvement with... All right. Sure thing. Ah, then you'll be wanting Doc Hoff, or the Good Doctor, as he prefers. He prescribes everything from a good meal to stim packs to things that'll... The Good Doctor's lab equipment... Excellent. At this point... As much as... Sure thing. That'd be Crazy Wolfgang. He does repairs and general supplies, but he prefers to call himself a junk dealer. As he says, he's overjoyed to assist those who have a deep need for his... junk. With an At this point... Isn't it, though? At the moment, Wolfgang... Anything... All right. You can usually find one of the trade caravans at the entrance. Other than that... Good luck.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Fine. Hi. Whatever. I'm Machete, and I've got better things to do than talk with you. Scram. I know Dom doesn't want me just killing them. He and the Mechanist used to be friends or something. All I know is, next time they come to town, I bet I could solve the whole problem with one bullet for each of them. Bye.
Okay, so we've completed one undocumented or implied quest, which is we have fully invested in all of the roaming caravans. The main thing that gets us is each of the caravans now carries kind of what was previously a locked inventory. There isn't anything really all that amazing in it. The biggest thing that you get is, I think each one of them will now have a recipe, a workbench recipe that they didn't have before, or an upgraded one. I can't remember, or maybe I just haven't bought them all. I can't remember for sure now. You'll get a free prize from each one of them. Some of them are pretty decent, some of them it doesn't matter. The biggest thing you get out of them is each of the caravans now carries like 3 times as many caps at all times. Well, this is really weird.
Yes?
So that, on each route, once they refresh their stock and their money supplies, you'll be able to sell a whole lot more to them, just like you can some of the bigger stores, which will help quite a bit because, as I've discussed repeatedly, this game is actually, kind of looting the game, basically. We are now about to start on the Superhuman Gambit quest. There are several different ways that you can handle this one. As Uncle Ro pointed out, really the way the game has it set up is you are meant to side with either the Mechanist or the Antagonizer and help one defeat the other, and both of them, if whoever you decide to help, you can either decide to help them kill the other, or you can tell them, no, I'm not going to kill them, I'm going to go talk to them and get them to stop being a superhero or a supervillain, and that'll stop it. That'll solve the quest for the opposing superhero, and that'll also satisfy Uncle Ro. Or, of course, you can choose to, I'll just run over there and kill them right quick, and then everybody fights, and whoever dies, dies. The undocumented way that you're not supposed to do it is you are not supposed to betray both of them and kill both of them. But here's the thing. The way to get the most loot out of this quest is, well, back up a little bit. Both the Antagonizer and the Mechanist each have unique sets of armor comprised of both full body armor and a helmet. So that's 2 pieces of armor from the Mechanist, that's 2 pieces of armor from the Antagonizer. Each of them also has a unique in the game weapon. The Mechanist has the custom unique laser pistol Protectron's Gaze that is more powerful than a laser rifle. It is a fantastic pistol or weapon in general for someone who has energy weapons, who focuses on energy weapons. For me, it would be a great weapon for my Lucy West companion because one of her tag skills is energy weapons. That's why I keep her equipped with a laser rifle, and why her unique weapon that you can get upgraded that gets bugged so easy is an unmarked unique laser rifle that I bugged at some point. I'm not sure how, but I've done it before. It's easy to do it. But the Protectron's Gaze would actually make a really great weapon for her. It would be more powerful than her current laser rifle. I suspect how I bugged it was when I repaired it, I guess. I don't know. The problem is that the only way you get the Protectron's Gaze, or indeed either of the unique weapons, is by killing the person who's carrying them. You can't get them any other way. So if you want the Protectron's Gaze, the simple way to get the Protectron's Gaze is you side with the Antagonizer, then go kill the Mechanist, and you can loot the Protectron's Gaze off of his body after you kill him, but you cannot loot his armor off of him after you kill him. You can only get his armor if you convince him to stop being the Mechanist. So in order to get both his unique armor and the Protectron's gaze, you have to convince him to stop being the Mechanist, and then you have to kill him before he leaves the room. Which, you know, that's, if you're looting, that's just the way you have to do it. If you're trying to stay true to a character in a story, that's kind of a shitty thing to do to somebody. By the same token, that's what you have to do to get both the unique... the Antagonizer has a unique knife called the Ant Sting or something like that, and it's actually really crappy. It does poison damage, but it's based off of a regular knife. It's not even based off of a combat knife, and so it's, I think, the weakest unique weapon in the game and is completely pointless. And of course, the only way you can get that is if you kill her, then you can loot it off her body.
This is for you.
But the only way that you get her unique armor, which is better than the Mechanist's armor, much, you know, it's really nice armor, is you have to convince her to stop being the Antagonizer, which is a whole lot harder than convincing the Mechanist to stop being the Mechanist. And then you have to kill her after you've talked her down. And honestly, I've done that before. Matter of fact, the last time I played the game, I did the full loot option where I got both of the unique weapons and both of the bits of armor. I used the Protectron's gaze. Like I said, it's a really good weapon. There are better energy weapons in the game than the Protectron's gaze, but for what it is, it's one of the best. You know, kind of, it hits well above its weight. It's better than a laser rifle. But if I get up enough ammo, you know, there's still better energy weapons for Lucy to use. So it's not mandatory, but if you're a unique weapon collector, that's what you have to do.
For the record, I'm
the
not having
Highwayman's Friend, a unique tire iron. Not a bad melee weapon, not a very good one either, but I guess we better start looking for tire irons to pick up so we can repair it. Side with one, go convince the other one to stop being who they are, then kill to get their armor, then kill them to get their weapon, return back to the one you sided with, convince them to also stop being who they are. They will give you their armor, then you have to shoot them in the back as they're walking out to collect their unique weapon. So that's how you do that, just so you know. I seldom actually do a plot line where I side with the Antagonizer, and so that's probably what I'm going to do this time. Honestly, the Antagonizer is, except for bringing the giant deadly ants into town that are under her control, she's practically useless, whereas the Mechanist actually, I mean, he's actually very dangerous to the citizens of the town. I mean, you saw how easy he took out the ants. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing.
Oh man, did you see it? Did you see it? The Antagonizer was all like, "Fear me!" But the Mechanist was all, "Stop, evildoer!" The Antagonizer, she's this evil supervillain who's trying to wipe out humans with her ants. And the Mechanist protects us with his robots. And when they fight in town, it's incredible! There's all these lasers and biting and blood, and it's crazy! And then my uncle says I need to stay inside. He says it's dangerous. This is serious business, Derek. You think they're neat too, huh? It's not like they ever hurt anyone. Well, not like really badly hurt or anything. Dom and Machete make sure that everyone gets inside when they fight like that. Though sometimes I sneak out to watch. The traders and the slavers and the raiders, they don't like the Antagonizer or the Mechanist. They say they're bad for business. But that's dumb. The ants and the robots rip them to shreds. That shows them. You mean the superheroes? Yeah, I'll try to watch all of their fights. That's easy. The Antagonizer's suit makes her super agile, but I guess her ants are pretty weak on their own. Just watch out for her royal guard. The Mechanist robots are a lot tougher, and his suit makes him super smart. I don't think he has any weaknesses. Well, maybe one. Since he's a good guy, he's not as ruthless as the Antagonizer. Like, he'd never hurt an innocent like me, if he could help it. I don't know much about her except she really, really doesn't like people. That's kinda cool. I mean, sometimes people are jerks. I think her lair is somewhere in the caves to the north of the city. I've seen her ants down there once in a while. Joe Porter said he found out something about her, but my uncle won't let him tell me. He says don't encourage the poor boy. I knew the Mechanist back when he was just a normal hero. He used to be called Scott. Then he fixed up stuff around town. But one day, the Antagonizer killed his favorite robot, and I told him he ought to fight back against her like a real superhero. Ever since then, he's been up on his forge, on the back of the robot shop on the hill, working to protect us all from the Antagonizer.
Now we know all about the Mechanist. We just need
Well,
to find out about
okay.
the Antagonizer.
Say hi to the Mechanist for me.
Yes? Newcomer to town, huh? Well, I'm Dominic Delasadro, and welcome to Canterbury Commons. Try to ignore the idiots in the costumes. Popular activities around town are trading, listening to row yap, and burying thieves in unmarked graves. Of course, we ran out of thieves to bury long ago. Saw to it myself. Might be a dead art, unless you're planning on stealing anything. Sounds like a good plan. Keeps the traders happy that way. And it means Machete and I get to save on ammo. Ro hired you to put a stop to their shit, did he? Guess he finally listened when I told him I haven't got the time to do it myself. It's easy enough to hide inside when those two square off, but they're only getting worse about it all. I don't know who she is, other than a crazy with an ant suit and a chip on her shoulder for humanity. She wasn't much trouble by herself, really. Her attacks were a joke, but at least stories of her kept some of the raiders at bay. If it helps, she was always attacking from the warrens up north. Maybe you can find her ant nest in there. You mean Scott Walensky? I refuse to call him by that ridiculous name just because his head got a screw loose. He used to be a damn good friend, and not just because he fixed my guns up. Now he spends all his time up in that bot shop, just thinking about fighting that Antagonizer. Hardly even recognizes his own name anymore. If you could just make either one of them stop fighting, it'd do the trick. You probably wouldn't have to worry about the other one. I can't imagine Scott attacking the town with his robots, and that Antagonizer girl was never much more than a sideshow freak by herself. Ro may prefer that you're thorough, but all I care about is that you get the job done, one way or the other. Fine by me. Bye.
Hey,
Evening. Yeah?
just stumbled into town? You sure picked a fine day for it, with the crazies out there. Here, have a drink on the house. Welcome to Canterbury. I'm Joe Porter. I make sure folks around here can get a meal when they need it. We do our best. Well, Dom and Ro do their best. I just make sure they've got enough food so they can keep on doing their best. You ever find yourself starving around here, drop by Dot's Diner. We don't charge much, but don't expect any more freebies. You mean apart from having cheesy names? Actually, I think I might know something useful. One of the traders told me she sounded like a girl he used to know. Girl's whole family was wiped out by ants, not long before she showed up here. But they never found any trace of her body. Said her name was Tanya Kristoff. That might just be our little Antagonizer.
And now we know what we need to know to finish out the Antagonizer side of the quest.
Hey, move. When you find those two costume idiots, put a bullet in their heads for me.
Eating right? Hope so.
I've got one! Look out!
So at last, you've penetrated the court of the Antagonizer, queen of all ants. Were you sent by that meddling Mechanist? He'll learn that no one can stand before my royal regimen of fighting ants. Explain yourself. Why shouldn't I have my pretties kill you where you stand? This is an unexpected surprise. A human who understands its place. One who realizes that ants are destined to walk this land, while humans and their toys are destined only to rot beneath it? Perhaps even a human who wants to join the winning side, yes? One that would humbly beg admittance to the Ant Queen's court? When it comes to the struggle for power, there is no peace. There is only strength and conflict. But the Mechanist might just be foolish enough to give up. He believes in logic and reason, and other tools of human weakness. Yes, go to the Mechanist and talk. Meanwhile, I will stay here and prepare for war. You are in the presence of Ant Royalty.
Now we get to start reaping the benefits of our deals with Uncle Roe and the trade caravans.
I hear you're my mysterious investor. With your help, I've collected quite a few toys for myself. But what good are toys if they aren't played with? Thanks to you, I have so many, I can hardly play with them all. So, I present to you a prize of the collection. A micro-nuke. Enjoy it in safety. It's my pleasure to offer hot death in a variety of exciting flavors. Take your pick. A pleasure doing business.
God. Like... Here. This is for you.
Looking to trade? Please, enjoy my selection of high-quality problem solvers.
Okay, the Mechanist lair. You can do this the long way or the short way, and because I've done this so many times and because I'm not doing the full loot thing, I'm going to short circuit past the really hard area that you have to fight through in here. There's basically a shortcut to get up to his lair as long as you've got your skills pushed up high enough that allows you to bypass the factory floor, I guess you'd say it, because he's got some really high level turrets and some central bots which are on the factory floor that you have to fight through. And then get up to the top area, move to another area, fight through it, and then you have kind of an you have some office areas that you can work through. It's all good loot, but you are coming back here at some point, maybe get through it or just get a bunch of stuff. And there's some neat stuff in it too, because, you know, he's got the thing set up like a high-tech secret lair. But for right now, because we know what we're doing, we're going to go convince him to stop being the Mechanist, get his unique armor, go back to Tanya, convince her to stop being the antagonist and get her secret armor too. And then turn the quest into Uncle Ro, and we'll be done with all of the plot-related stuff that we need to do in Canterbury Commons.
What are you doing in here? How did you get past my defenses? Did the Antagonizer send you? Speak now, citizen, or I'll be forced to detain you until I can ascertain your true motives. I realize you mean well, but I'm afraid you're being naive. The Antagonizer is a madwoman, and the only thing that will stop her is force. As much as I wish peace were an option, the Antagonizer is too deluded, too inhuman to listen to reason. Sadly, sometimes the scaly claw of tyranny must be destroyed by the cold, unfeeling pincers of justice. Is that true? Have I really become a threat to the town? Am I really the villain here? Does this mean I should stop myself? I guess I could just give up my suit and stop being the Mechanist. But I couldn't face the town after causing that much trouble. Here, please, take the suit. I don't want to think about it anymore.
And that's all done except for the looting and returning back to Tanya and convincing her to stop being the Antagonizer too.
At last, you've pried the shell off that meaty little Mechanist. Give it to me! You would dare to tell the Antagonizer to wait? No human commands the Ant Queen. But as you have defeated my nemesis, I will allow you to talk. Quickly! You're wrong. Humans are cruel, hurtful beasts. They can't be saved. We can't be... I can't go back. But I can't keep doing this. I can't be as bad as they were. Please, I think I've made some terrible mistakes. If you really think I still have a chance, just let me go. I'll give you the suit. No one ever has to see the Antagonizer again. Just please, let me have another chance. Thank you. I don't know how I can just thank you.
Unfortunately, solving the problems this way doesn't actually change your probability. You still have to pass a pretty difficult speech check here. If you'll remember, it's the exact same percentage chance to succeed as it was beforehand. So I don't know why they make it sound like you can actually do this a bunch of different ways. It's just another one of those things that they kind of created a template, and the template looked good, and you had a lot of different ways that you could solve it, and then you just kind of get the feeling that they never actually went back and finished fleshing that template out. They just coded it from where they started it. Not again. I'm stuck again.
Hello. I've heard of you. You're one of the good guys. You mean the superheroes?
With all of that fighting, I never did get to give you the official welcome to the town, did I? Welcome to Canterbury Commons, home of traders, caravanners, and most of all of excellent bargains. Here for business or pleasure?
Well, that's not creepy at all.
Most of the caravans that come through, their fondest desire is to spend a few days off the road and to get a full stomach. We've got good food in the diner, and we try to keep it nice and peaceful. That's grand. I do believe it's fair to say you've saved Canterbury. And unlike that Mechanist, you did so with significantly less stress all around. Now, I do believe this is our agreed-upon payment for your fine services rendered, and a little bonus as a special thank you. Be back.
It makes me feel safer knowing you're around. Okay, bye.
While we're here, might as well go ahead and get this radio tower out of the way.
Yes, that's law.
His
Made up
face
your mind?
glitched halfway through the cigarette smoking animation. And it's got one of his eyes cockeyed too.
A pleasure doing. Made up your mind? Need to do